Hi everyone and welcome to another video on my channel. My name is Busi and today I am joined by a special guest. Her name is Reni and we are reviewing LinkedIn profiles together. And as you can see, we are in a completely different space. I'm in Reni's studio.
Yay.
She is a full-time content creator, but she has worked in corporate and has used LinkedIn extensively to find a number of opportunities. She has her own YouTube channel, which I would highly suggest that you check out. She talks about finance, she talks about career and lifestyle. So you're going to find a lot of information that is useful on her channel, and we actually did a similar video where we reviewed profiles on her channel. So I strongly recommend you check that out, and I'll add everything in the description as usual. Okay. But Reni, did I miss anything?
No, you captured me perfectly. Hi everyone, super excited to be here.
Thank you for being here with us. As I mentioned, we are reviewing LinkedIn profiles. I posted in the Mighty Networks group. If you're not aware, I have a group on Mighty Networks called the Lucy G Fam, and it basically has a number of people who want to move to Canada and are looking for different opportunities when it comes to finding work. And one of the things that we do talk about on there quite a bit is LinkedIn. So if you're not on the group, you just missed out on an opportunity to have your profile reviewed. So today I think it's around 9 profiles, and I hope we'll be able to get through everything. I want to make sure that we're not repeating anything on the video. So if there is something that ends up being repetitive on some of the profiles, then we'll make it work so you watch the whole thing.
Yes.
And you get maximum value from everything. So what we're doing, we're going through the profiles. We're going to mention what works, what's not working, what could be improved. And the first person that we are reviewing is Sophia. So I'll just scroll through a bit slowly just to see what Sophia has on her profile. Okay. You're on the right track. Like you have the profile and you filled out. I saw in your work experience you have a lot of details that are placed on there. But I do think there's a lot that you can improve on. And one of the things that I always say with a LinkedIn profile is that when you're just getting on somebody's profile, that first view that you get is like your first impression. So think of it as you meeting someone for the first time. You're seeing how they're dressed, they're saying hi, how are they coming towards you, maybe shaking your hand. And you need to make that first look like make sense.
Exactly. And you want them to want to keep scrolling, right? If they see it and it doesn't attract them, then they're going to be like, well, let me go on to the next profile. Yeah. And you have to think of it from the recruiter's point of view. They're looking at so many profiles every single day. So they're going to stop on the ones that actually keep them there, right?
Definitely. So I think one of the biggest things that I'm seeing is the banner.
Yes.
The channel banner. It has that default LinkedIn picture that they put on there, and I think that's wasted space. You could add a picture on there that's related maybe to your work, something that looks professional. You could make a custom banner where you're adding specific things if maybe you want to write text on it. So I'd say that's one of the first things that I'm seeing on here that I'd say you should change. Let's click on the profile picture. I think you could do a bit better with the profile picture.
Yeah, I feel like there's an opportunity to be more professional in your photo. So right now, maybe you went to a party or something.
That's how it's looking.
Yeah, this is the photo. I love your hair, by the way, very cute. Yeah. But I would say something from the chest up would be good, and then just a little bit more professional.
Take a picture specifically thinking about LinkedIn in mind.
Yes.
And she's an assistant accountant at Stancore Africa. Is there any benefit to you with mentioning the company in your headline?
Yes.
So you're an assistant accountant at Stancore Africa. When someone scrolls to your work experience, they'd be able to see that, right?
Exactly.
So are you using that real estate as well as you could? Just looking at maybe the roles that you're looking into, are you looking into staying in that assistant accountant space? If not, how can you change that headline to correctly reflect what you would be looking to move into?
Yes. And I feel like, I agree with you. I feel like you're kind of pigeonholing yourself into the assistant accountant role, whereas you could just call yourself an accountant or an analytical account. Like, you don't have to just say your title and your company, because it's pigeonholing you and making your brand about this company rather than you being an accountant and being on your own. Like you are not, the company is not who you are at the end of the day. So I would say distance yourself from the company, because we can find that you work at StoneCore somewhere else on your page.
Yeah. So from an area perspective, are you only looking for opportunities that are in Johannesburg, or would you be open to opportunities maybe in Cape Town, in Durban, other parts of South Africa? And this was actually something we spoke about when I did the live, for people who want to move to Canada. It's like, does it really serve you to place Johannesburg as an
Good
area?
point. Good
Because I remember with me, I changed my location when I moved to Canada, and I wished I would have changed it earlier.
Yeah. So you had a job when you even landed before.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where if a recruiter is searching for people in a particular area,
And they do.
they're not going to find you if you know for a fact that you're going through the process. Maybe you're like very close to the time where you have to be moving, and you're not interested in getting a new job in South Africa. I personally don't see anything wrong with you changing your location to where you're trying to move to.
100%.
So if you know you're going to be in Ontario, put Ontario on there. And I think I mentioned it on that live as well for anyone who didn't watch. One of my friends was staying in Nigeria, and she had Amsterdam. So when we worked in Amsterdam, she didn't change Amsterdam.
Yeah, she just left
and she
it.
got a job in Amsterdam.
Exactly.
So it's like,
Yeah.
put a location that makes sense for where you're trying to find work. But if you are looking in South Africa, don't box yourself in unless you know for a fact that you're not trying to relocate anywhere else. But I would think if you're in Johannesburg, you could potentially work in Pretoria as well. So maybe saying Gauteng, like the province, not specifically like the city, like Johannesburg city.
Good advice. I like that. In the About section, my first thought with the About section is that you're writing in third person. And so you're saying Sophia is an assistant accountant. Why aren't you saying I am an assistant accountant?
Because this is your profile.
Yeah.
Anyone who's coming on here knows that it's kind of like you being on in Facebook or Instagram, and then you're giving descriptions on everything in third person. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I would say all you have to do is change it. I am an assistant accountant
You're speaking about yourself.
a New York Stock Exchange listed company that operates in the manufacturing industry.
And I think the other thing, just looking at it like this, try break it up so you have paragraphs and you're not just making everything like, add lines to it to make it easier on the eye. So someone just doesn't look at it and they're like, oh, this is too much text. I just want to skip through.
Yes, I agree. I feel like I don't know much about what roles you're looking for just by reading this. I know about the certifications that you had and where you went to school and where you currently work, but what is your next role? This is a resume, remember. This is your online resume, so you're trying to use it as a way to get to your next role. Ideally, well, that's what most people do. So I would say we need to...
As much as you're talking about like the other companies and things that you've done, I love that you're mentioning like experience, 2 years experience here, 4 years experience here, but make it translate to what you're looking for, the types of opportunities that you're looking for. So even maybe with the experience that you do mention, have it aligned to what you're looking for, because LinkedIn is a search engine, and if a recruiter is searching for someone who has a particular experience in whatever next role you're looking into, they're not really looking at like, a company that's in the New York Stock Exchange, for example. So don't put too many details on the company, but rather make it more about yourself, your experience, this other role that you'd wanna work in.
I agree.
So experience, assistant accountant.
Yeah. So
bank.
just by seeing it, not even going in depth and reading it, I would say you're listing off all of the tasks that you have worked on, but we don't see any of the impact and the results that you have driven while being in those in that role. So you do manufacturing variance, PPV, and revaluation daily reports. What is the benefit to the company of that? What have you in your reports? Have you saved the company money because you identified this in the daily report? Like, those are the things that people want to see. That you're driving results.
Yeah, totally agree. Education.
For the Meridian College, I don't think you need that there. It's high school, right? I'm guessing.
Matriculated in 2009. So when, I think unless you're like fresh out of university and you're still trying to get your first job, then I had high school
Yeah.
related stuff in there. But as you get, like, you start working and you have work experience, your high school is not really necessary
No.
to add on LinkedIn.
Not at all, yeah.
So I definitely also say take that out.
Mm-hmm.
Skills and endorsements, let's see. Okay, so I think she can also max out.
Yes.
So LinkedIn gives you 50, you're able to input 50 skills on LinkedIn, and I recommend that you max out all of them.
Me too.
Max out all of them, and then over time, as you gain new skills and you want to add a new skill, go back and review your skills and see what you could take out that is not as relevant as it used to be, so that you keep your skills updated. But make sure you're using every single one of those 50 skills that they give you.
Yes.
You'd be surprised at how many things recruiters just add on resumes. Like, I remember using what's this platform? I forgot the name now, but I'll add it in the description. And I've spoken about it. I think I spoke about it on the live YouTube video that we did. But you basically get to compare a job description to your resume. So it helps you tailor your resume for that job.
Smart.
And there's things where it will pop things out that you're just like, I would have never maybe even thought to add this as a skill. So there's so many skills that you could add. That 50 skills is little. You realize how much you need to be, thoughtful of what you're putting in there. So I think that's the one thing that I'd say on the skill side. Just make sure you're adding things on there, even from a soft skills perspective. Maybe presentation skills. Like, there's so many things that you can add over and above the technical stuff that you can do.
100%.
And then accomplishments.
Yeah, but I would put some details about the course. Like, what is the Popia WEPS workshop? Yeah, like, what did you learn in that? What skills did you acquire from going to that? Those are the types of things that I would have add there. Just because LinkedIn is a search engine and recruiters are looking for you using that search engine. So you want to make sure that you have as many keywords as possible so you're popping up on as many times.
Yeah. And I also think you can add on your connections, like 148 connections. You could look for people who are in the same industry as you, in-mail people and just say, hey, I'd like to connect based on whatever you found maybe or saw on their profile. Connect with them, and whatever they get to share, you get to be exposed to it.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving on to the next profile. Next profile, we have Dumelo.
I love that name.
Dumelo, is it?
Yeah.
One thing I think I don't remember seeing it, but there's a feature where you can pronounce your name. Like, it makes it easier to help people know how to pronounce your name, and from an accessibility perspective, I think you have to, because I don't have it. I saw it when we were reviewing the profiles that we reviewed on your channel. But that's definitely something I'd encourage every single one of you who are watching this to add. Okay, so Dumelo's profile, I'm just going to do a quick scroll through. Okay, he has quite a bit filled in with the jobs, education, licenses, and certificates.
Skills, interests.
Okay, it's looking good so far.
Yeah.
It's looking good. And I think with the banner, I like it.
Me too.
It makes sense. And looking at your titles, like senior business analyst, I'm like, it makes sense. It's not something that's like you're writing stuff in there, but it makes sense, and you're using that real estate.
I would say, I really like how the banner, even though, as you said, there's no text on it, but
it works.
Yeah, but the photo, it's a little blurry.
It's blurry, and like, I'm wondering why it's not opening up fuller. Yeah. Maybe you added like a smaller resolution picture or something. So I'd say maybe definitely try get a. It's a good picture, but it looks a bit blurry on our side, and I think a lot of recruiters are also looking at profiles like this on a laptop or a desktop. So I definitely say try and get a more crisp, like clearer picture.
I would agree with that. Yeah, definitely. Again, city of Johannesburg.
Yeah, so I think also Dumelo is like, are you just looking to like work in Johannesburg, or do you want to open yourself up to Gauteng in general? Or if you're open to moving, because some people are open to relocating, maybe you don't need to like make it super specific, but I think just Gauteng, South Africa would be perfect, because that's the province that you're in. And What do you think of the senior business analyst?
I feel like for SEO purposes, if you're just going to have your title, you should at least put senior, like actually write out senior.
Write it out.
Yeah.
Okay,
but I also think you should put some descriptors of who you are as a person or what skills you have. So senior business analyst, but then maybe like analytical, like having different descriptors after your title. Because it's okay. Like it's not awful, but I would say at least make senior full, like rate this full.
Because when a person is searching, I don't think anyone, maybe there are people, but they generally gonna write out like senior when they're searching it out. So yeah, that's definitely a great call out.
Yeah.
And then the about specialize in optimizing operational processes and business systems to improve client experience.
I'm not a fan of it. Yeah, I just feel like it's very simple, but I don't really know anything about you.
More, yeah.
I don't know anything about you.
And like for me, like the one line that I have on mine, it's I don't even know what it is right now, but I know it's one sentence. But I do think it adds a bit about like myself.
Who you are. Yeah. Specialize in optimizing operational processes and business systems to improve client experience. Like, okay.
It's more from a work perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure it also helps you from an SEO perspective, because even if it is one sentence, but if you're putting in words and keywords that people would be searching, I think that's one of the things you would have to really think about.
100%. Yeah. Like, what are the key skills that somebody in your ideal role has? Put those into your about section.
Yeah, and definitely don't just think of your current role, but think of that next role that you'd like to be in, because those are the opportunities you want to get, right? So make sure you're thinking of that role and what you could showcase to help you get that next role.
Exactly.
Activities. Oh yeah, let's see. I didn't check this with Sophia.
I don't think she didn't have any.
She didn't. I probably forgot because I didn't see.
Yeah.
So Sophia, make sure you are active on LinkedIn, because I don't remember seeing activities on yours. And that would be you posting your own posts on LinkedIn. Even if you like or share other people's posts, like if you're sharing a post, make sure you're adding your own thoughts like to it. Don't just share. And I don't think there's anything wrong with just sharing, but if you continuously only just reshare other people's stuff, it just kind of feels like you saw a post, you shared it, but what is it really about?
Yeah.
You know? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Even to Mello, like your first post, I think it's great that you're resharing an event that is in your industry. Like that's really good, but add your own caption.
Is it a conference you went to?
Exactly.
Is it a conference you were interested in going to? You could add something just to give a bit of a description on the conference.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was activities, and then experience. So you're writing more of the tasks that you did, and it would help you a lot more if you're adding results, like what did you achieve while you were in this role. Is it a present? Oh, it's present role. Okay, so you're still doing the role, but in the past years that you've been there, what are some of the things that you were able to do and accomplish and achieve and help the business with? So someone who's looking at this can clearly see that, oh, okay, if I can get them on my team, they would most likely be able to achieve XYZ for my organization or my team.
Exactly. For example, when you say analyze data using statistical software, what software did you use? Because those are things that people will be, recruiters will be searching for.
They search for specific software, and if you've used that software, it counts in your favor.
Exactly. So add it in.
Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah, I feel like the rest is pretty good.
Yeah. You can add though. There's 50 skills in there.
Lucy loves these skills.
Add all 50 of them. Add all 50 of them. Help yourself rank in search. So yeah, I think it's an overall good profile. Just those few tweaks that we mentioned, but it's looking quite good. Okay, and then next profile. So Sheldon Lovu. It's not looking like I haven't scrolled, but at first glance, it kind of feels like you created a profile and then left it. And maybe if we scroll, we'll see stuff in there. And I don't know if it's because, like some people can restrict they say maybe because
yes.
I don't think I'm connected. I
No.
don't think I was connected to anyone.
Good point.
Yeah, that you might have a profile picture, but I'm not able to see it because I'm not yet your connection.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've set it up like that, you're not helping yourself
At
like
all.
show up in the best way to someone who would be a recruiter, because you're not going to be connected to every single recruiter out there.
Exactly.
So I would definitely say make sure that from a who is my profile picture or certain details about my profile available to, open it up to a lot more people. So last experience, are you still using LinkedIn? Like this is like 2012 to 2016.
Maybe this is an abandoned account.
Okay, yeah. So I think have a look at, because you shared this name in the group, like Sheldon LaRue, and this is the one only account that's popping up.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you still have an active LinkedIn profile. And I just want to search again, because now I feel like
Sheldon, with this profile, the opportunities unfortunately will not be coming.
No.
So I would say, first things first, get a profile picture, or at least make it public to us, because we're not sure if you have one. Get a banner, because it will just
impressions.
Exactly.
It enhances your profile.
Exactly. Accountant. What type of accountant are you? If that's important, I'm not sure.
And like, what jobs are you looking for?
Yes.
As well. Like, think of that headline in that sense. If you are just looking for accountant, but I feel like it's still very broad. It's still very, very broad.
And then there's the open to work feature. So right now, just based on your profile, you are currently not working. So I would put that open to work banner on your page.
Yeah.
Even if you are working, you can still have it, but you can just not hide it. Yeah. You can hide it from people
in your organization, but it will be open to recruiters that are looking for
exactly
people.
And then connect with a few people.
Yes, 69 people. Like, find people to connect with. It could be people you're already working with. It could be people you've worked with in previous companies. It could be people you don't even know, because that's what LinkedIn really is for, connecting you to different people who might be in the same industry or share the same interest as you. So have a look and go through other people's profiles. And if you see someone that makes sense for you to connect with that person. Extend a connection request. And I find, like, I don't necessarily expect people to write in mails or a message or whatever, like, but like, I can just see maybe someone is a customer success manager as well. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Some people do send that, and I always respond, like, if someone does say something, but you really don't have to like do extra things to get more connections on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and honestly, if you sent me a request with this profile, I probably wouldn't accept.
Yeah, me too.
So you need that before you add anyone. Update the profile before you start adding.
Because it kind of looks spammy to a certain extent. It kind of looks like it could be those spam accounts that, like, someone opened it and maybe they use it. I don't know, but you haven't done much on it. And literally a profile picture and a banner could go a long way. Even just a profile picture at this stage.
To be honest,
And more connections, it would go a very long way.
And then maybe if you click contact info, is there anything? Okay, at least he has his phone, his email
address.
Okay. Yeah, but I feel like there's a lot of work to do on this, Sheldon. But it's not hard. Remember, you can start with the basics and then build as you go. And then with your experience, it's good that you have your experience, but none of the companies are linked to the actual company page. So there's no what's it called, icon. So I would say if the laptop clinic, if Mazinga attorneys, if they have pages on LinkedIn, connect to the actual page, because it makes it look a bit more professional, and then their logo will be there.
Skills and endorsement. Let's see what you have in there. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that is really, really good.
So you have the bare bones, and you have the skills. Now you just need to put it on LinkedIn and show everyone that you have those skills.
So you can get those companies reaching out to you.
Exactly.
So the next profile that we are reviewing is Bulane Kosi. And I'll just scroll through quickly just to get that first impressions of the profile. Okay, there's a lot in there.
I'm impressed so far.
It's looking good, Okay, so even the profile picture I actually quite like. Okay, awesome. And she's an assistant director, governance, risk, and compliance. I think that works. That works. The connections I think are also a pretty decent number. And the reason why you want to have like more connections, if you share, you're sharing content, the chances of a number of people seeing it and having that being seen by even more people makes a difference. So having 60 connections versus having 300 connections is a very big difference.
Definitely. And I think no one here so far has had the features, the featured feature. They haven't used that.
Oh yes,
the section.
the featured section.
Yeah,
that's another thing that I can show. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that your page is, from what I can see, is good so far. But we want to highlight the best parts of you in the top half of the page. So there's a section called features. Let's just make sure. Yeah, shouldn't use it. So there's a section called features that you may want to use, and you could basically show like the things that you're most proud of in that featured section. And then once someone comes on your profile, that's what they'll see. It's one
of the first things that they see.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I like that you are saying that you're attending events. That we haven't seen that yet.
Where?
Attending this event in the highlight section. I don't think we've seen that in any of them.
I haven't seen that, yeah.
Yeah, so
I
that's
actually
good.
didn't even know that feature exists.
Yeah, me either.
That's good. That is really good. Okay, and then activity. You see there's some activity in there. Posts that you have put up. Okay, so you've shared 2 months ago. Here, the last one was 2 months ago, 6 months ago. You can be a bit more active.
Definitely.
On LinkedIn. You can definitely be a bit more active. Like 2 months ago. And I feel like if you know you're looking for opportunities, like if you're just like, I'm good where I am, maybe you might not be putting that much effort like into, posting or doing any of these other things. But if you know you're actively in the market and you're looking, it really goes a long way in helping to boost your profile.
Yeah, sure.
So, okay, so experience.
Assistant director. It's long.
It's long, and I think you're also listing more of the duties that you did.
Yeah.
Try and add something that's related to the results, like results that you were able to achieve. Maybe you helped improve a process at work or something similar, or you helped build up a process. You can add that to your description for the work.
And also just the format of it as well.
Yeah.
Like
it's quite sore on the eye.
Yeah.
Like I don't look at it. Yeah, me too. I'm not looking at it and I'm like, I'm going to read this whole thing. But if you break it up and have clear lines in between each sections, that will definitely make it go a long way.
Yes. One thing I would just ask is the bank official teller and the finance department intern, is that relevant anymore? Like that was 2002, so that's a pretty long time ago. You just have to see, is that actually relevant?
It's still adding to your to where you're trying to go, where you're currently at, and where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
Does it still add? Like similar to how we said, if you'd be a student, having high school in there might still make sense because you really don't have a lot to add. But after you've had some years of experience and you know that this is where I want to focus from a work perspective, does it still make sense to add certain things? It's things that you could potentially speak about if they're relevant, maybe in an interview, verbal thing, like, oh, at this point I did X, Y, Z. But if it's not really relevant, then
time to go. Yeah.
I like this, like that they added. I think it might be the modules.
Yeah, that's what I have that too on my page.
Yeah.
So all the courses I took while I was there.
That's really, really nice. I like that.
And it's like they're also keywords typically.
They're keywords, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Licenses and certifications. That is great that you added that. And then let's see. That's good. You can still add more. Yeah, like when I scroll, I'm like, okay, you can still definitely add more skills. Max out on that 50. Add more of the soft skills as well.
Yes.
You don't only have to have
technical,
like the technical stuff in there.
And I also say endorse people, because right now you have one endorsement on each. I would just say go and endorse other people so they will endorse you back.
Yep, definitely. And then the recommendations.
Yeah, so it's good that you are giving recommendations to people. You can also ask for recommendations so you have some on your page. But my main feedback would be the recommendations that you are giving. They're not really detailed.
Yeah.
Like the one for
You are good, Zintle.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like if if you were doing it to receive a recommendation, I don't see it as something that entices someone else to say, oh, they gave this really great recommendation about me, so let me also write about my experience working with them. Yeah, it's pretty fluffy. Like, you are good, Zintle. Good in what? Like, what was she good at? Hardworking, somebody, role model to other. It's like, give a bit more detail if you're gonna go down that path, so that like, just think of it as well from if you were receiving the recommendation. Would you want someone to just say, okay, you're a good Bulane, and that's it? Like, it would feel like, just say a bit more, so someone who hasn't worked with me and wants to hire me just knows a little bit from your experience with me how I was like. So I just say, if you are going to give recommendations, give a recommendation that's similar to what you would like to
something
receive.
that's meaningful, you know? Right now it just seems like fluff, as you said.
Yeah, but overall I think pretty strong profile. But you can change a few things to add to it and make it much more stronger. So let us know in the comment section what's the one tip that you took away from this video that you're going to be implementing on your own profiles. Like I said, I highly recommend that you go and watch the profiles that we reviewed on XOReni's channel. There's so many other features that are available on LinkedIn that weren't on the profiles that we got to view here today. So you're going to get a lot of value from it. So it's going to be in the description of this video. So please do check it out, and also check out XOReni. She speaks about finance. She speaks about career. So many tips. XOReni the resource. I'm not even playing. Like, if you're on my Instagram, like, you've seen her, in one of my stories. So thank you very much, XOReni.
Thank you for having me
on the video.
And I hope this is helpful, everyone.
So I will see all of you in the next video.
Bye.
Thank you for watching.